This is the sound of a happy budgie. Happy budgies will chirp, sing, whistle, perhaps mimic some sounds, and chatter almost all day long. Vocalizing is an important part of their day. They may also chirp along with the radio or sing on their own. This is Sky. He's a very happy boy. You can see how energetic he is. He's just chattering away, bopping his head. That's just signs of excitement and a happy budgie. And this is Jack. He likes to talk to the wood. And you can see how he's very excited. He just chatters away, very, very happy. And this is Sterling. He likes to talk to the perch as well. So these are all signs of happy birds. You can ensure your bird is happy when you see them bobbing their head like that and just chattering away. Sometimes they do it to objects, or they will do it to humans, or they'll do it to other birds. So when you see your budgie playing with an object or a toy, they're very, very happy. It's a normal behavior for budgies. It just shows that they're a very happy bird. This is the hop. The hop is very normal for budgies. It's just a sign of excitement. He's very, very excited. You can see how Jack's happy to be with his friend Benny. And sometimes they just hop by themselves. They're just chattering away and hopping. So it's a normal thing for budgies to do, is to hop. Sometimes they walk and they hop. And there's nothing wrong with them. It's normal. They're very, very happy birds, very excitable birds when they are hopping. You can see how excited Sky is here. See him hopping back and forth? He wants to feed his buddy Moonlight, and he's very, very excited. This is called preening, and what Jack is doing is he's rubbing his head on his preen gland, which is located just above the tail. And they rub their head into it. The gland produces an oily, waxy substance that helps waterproof and clean the feathers and keeps them nice and sleek and clean. And what they do is they spread this oil all over their body, and sometimes they go individual all through their flight feathers, their tail feathers, and just throughout the body to keep their feathers in tip-top shape. There is a difference between preening and being itchy, so make sure you know the difference between preening and itchy. A sure way to tell is if you see your budgie rubbing its face on its preen gland. They usually do a little tail wag at the end. Look at this, how cute it is. This is how budgies scratch their face. They put their whole leg behind their wing, and just to scratch around their around their nares. They're itchy. Sometimes they have a feather in their nostril or some food, or they just have an itch if they're molting, or just itchy overall. They just put their whole leg behind their wing to scratch. And this is budgie yoga. Basically, they're just stretching their wings, just like we do in the morning. You wake up and you stretch. This is quite normal. This is face rubbing, which is pretty normal. If your bird is healthy, it's not an issue. It just feels good for them. They usually rub their face, as you can see, on a pointier surface, more sharper here. And this little nodule in my perch is a famous rubbing area. You'll see that Sky goes to it as well. It just feels good. They're massaging their face, and there's nothing wrong with them. But if you do see a problem with your bird's cere or beak or face, then it could be an issue. It has diseases kind of make them itchy. But this is they're very perfectly healthy. As you can see, his face is fine, and he's just actually massaging himself. So this is fine for your budgie to do. It causes no harm. They're just enjoying themselves. Alright, so this Might be a little bit embarrassing, but it's a normal behavior, especially within budgies. They do this a lot, and other birds as well. They're basically pleasuring themselves. They're mating an object. They're having a good time. Also, it's called masturbating, which is nothing to be ashamed of. A lot of birds do this. It's natural. I get a lot of questions, and I see a lot of questions on Facebook pages asking, what's my bird doing? Because look at him. Doesn't he look nuts? He looks crazy. But he's like, well, he's having a good time. There's nothing wrong with him. He's not sick. He's just pleasuring himself. I don't have any females, and I'm glad I don't, because, I'd feel sorry for the female. But, here we go. Jack's having a great time. And it's normal behavior, so nothing to be, embarrassed about or blushed about. It's normal. They're just having a good time. Now, this is an obvious behavior. They're eating. But I just wanted to show you that budgies are very fast eaters. They're quick movers. They're always moving, eating really, really quickly. It's normal for them. They don't eat slowly. They eat very, very fast. They peck away and peck away. They'll fly away, come back and eat. So it's pretty normal for budgies to eat like this. Occasionally, you may see your budgie hold some food in its foot or just kind of hold it down. Budgies really don't use their feet to eat, but you can see Sky here is holding the millet so he can eat it. And here he's just eating normally. This is Sterling taking a bath. So budgies can bathe several different ways. This is normal for budgies to bathe different ways. They usually like a running water or even just a bowl of water. They can bathe different ways, but it's pretty normal for budgies to take a bath. So you can offer them a bath every day. And they do like one in water, as I said, and they love this fountain. So it's normal for budgies to take a bath every day. And they will splash, lay down, roll around and just flap their wings, or wag their tails, and be happy as anything. This is Sterling. He's thinking and looking above him. There's something above him. He's just thinking and relaxing. And yeah, it was Jack that was above him. Maybe something else because Jack is looking up too. But this is how they think. This is what budgies look like when they're getting ready to go to sleep. They would close their eyes and they would chitter and chatter away very slowly, and they will grind their beak. So let's listen. Turn up the volume. This is a sign of a sick budgie. You can see the wings, how they're droopy, and his back is a little bit arched, and he's breathing a little bit heavy than normally. If you see any changes in your bird's behavior or posture, please bring him to an avian vet. You can see how bad it is here. He actually did have a tumor in his abdomen, and it wasn't a very good outcome for him. But please go to an avian vet if you see any changes in posture or behavior with your budgie. If your adult male's cere used to be dark blue and is turned brown, it does not mean it's a female. It could be either a tumor within the body or it could be a hormone problem. But this happens with adult budgies, not baby budgies, because sometimes if it's got light blue, it could be a female and they turn brown naturally. Here's another sign of a sick budgie. You can see how that budgie is standing with 2 feet, closing the eyes over and over, opening and closing them. And you can see, the feet aren't so strong. You can see in this section, the feet is slipping off the perch. This was Sparkles, my budgie I had, quite a few years ago. She passed away. She actually had a ovary problem, and she was very weak. She actually had a high fever. So if you see your budgie acting anything like this or any other problems, please see an avian veterinarian. This is a budgie meeting. So you'll see, if you have a lot of budgies, you'll see they'll gather sometimes and they're just talking like they're having a discussion. Sometimes they're just, might disagree with each other, might fight, or one budgie might want the other budgie, and there's 3 of them, so only 2 can be together, and one will chase away the other just by pecking them, in the beak. And that way the two Budgies can be on their own. Or sometimes they just have a meeting and they have a kind of like a Budgie party. And they're just all chattering away, talking, having a good time. Some Budgies can be bullies or be aggressive with other Budgies. Watch the gray Budgie. You can see him staring. He doesn't look happy. He wants to separate these two as he wants one of them for himself. And, well, both of them flew away, but he's going to chase the other one. And he's fighting with him. He's not severely fighting. He's not going to really hurt him too much. Sometimes they pull at each other's feathers or they'll just beak each other. But if they fight severely, they'll have to be separated as they can harm each other severely. So it's best to keep them separate. Here you can see the Budgie at the bottom is getting a little bit angry. You see how they're fighting. These two love each other, so all the other Budgies try to come in between them, and usually it causes a chaos. So sometimes if your birds are fighting, you really do have to separate them. I actually separate my English Budgies from my regular size Budgies now, as the regular size Budgies are very active. And Jack here, the blue one, he actually starts to peck at their feathers and kind of shred them and rip them up. You can see how Benny's a little bit messy here. He's a pest. So Budgies can be very pesky. This is being pesky, just constantly being asked to be fed. Budgies always want to be fed, just knocking them on the beak. This is normal Budgie behavior. This is what they do. They're pesky. They just can't look at them. It can be so annoying. So annoying. Just peck, 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 and they won't give up. He just keeps trying and trying and trying. That's why it's best not to house another type of a bird with your Budgies, as they just constantly want to be fed and they won't give up. They just keep on going and going and going and going until the other bird gives in, either by fighting, walking away, or just sitting there like Benny, or eventually just feeding each other. And usually, they want to pick one friend. Like these two get along, and they actually feed each other. This is how they feed each other. They actually are regurgitating their food, which means, see how they pump their head? They pump their head, and they bring up their food that they've already eaten. I know it's gross. And then they feed the other bird. So these two birds here are taking turns. That's Treasure on the left, and that's Splash on the right. Actually, Splash is Treasure's baby, but they do love each other. These are both males. The blue seer is a male, and the pink seer is a male. And you can see how they just see what Splash is doing. He's bobbing his head, bringing up his food, and he feeds it to Treasure. And then Treasure will do the same thing and feed it to Splash. This is the Budgie being very pesky. You can see he keeps wanting to be fed. And some Budgies are more pesky than others. Some won't give up. They keep on being pesky to other Budgies. And they will start to pull out their feathers, shred their feathers like he's done to Treasure here. That's Jack. That blue one is Jack. And if he doesn't get his way, he'll start pulling out their feathers. And now he's trying to be fed from Moonlight. So there's some Budgies that are more pesky than others. So you just got to watch out for this behavior and separate if you need to. I call this follow the leader. They're all going to follow each other. It's kind of cute. This is what happy, calm, and tired Budgies look like. It's the end of the day, and they're going to be going to bed soon, so they're much calmer, and they're just kind of hanging out together.